All right, thank you guys. Happy Friday to you. The weekend is finally here. And if you want to know what all my picks are for this video right now, you can actually fast forward to my quick pick recap. It literally has all my picks for this video in rapid fire succession. There's a link in the comments section. All you have to do is click it, and you'll get all my picks for this video in about 30 seconds. Also, guys, if you really end up enjoying this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. It's very important to me. I greatly appreciate if you did that. And if you haven't already done so, please feel free to join the Brock Page delegation right now. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button below. And one more thing, I promise we're about to dive into the free content here. But one more thing, very important to me. We kind of tried it out yesterday, worked out great for us. Kind of a new thing we're trying to do here. But real quick, if you have one friend, maybe even a family member that you share your picks with every day, maybe you screenshot your ticket, send them a couple of games each day that you personally have action on, please feel free to share this channel with them. Even if it's just one person you tell, I'd be very thankful if you just let them know about this awesome channel that you helped build. So anyway, you helped make it is what it is today. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. And we are going to start off with the Suns taking on the Pistons. Now that's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Detroit. Now the Suns are the 6.5 point favorite on the road. Totals 217 and a hook. And if you like the Pistons in an upset at home, they're plus 210 for some money line cash. Now we are 7-1 with a push in our last 9 underdog tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to access today's underdog tier package pick, it's only going to cost you just $4.99. We're also 6-2 in our last 8 daily best plays on that site as well. And if you want to unlock today's daily best play, that's only going to cost you just $1.99. Normally people try to upsell you. I'm like downselling you. Everything keeps getting cheaper. But anyway, if you want to join the community of over 825 people just like you who are signed up and active on that page, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, the Pistons are on a 3-game losing streak, not playing all that great this season, just 1-7 straight up overall for the year. They're shooting just 41% from the field at home, and they find themselves allowing nearly 120 points a game defensively. Now, Jackson and Rose are questionable. Hayes is out. They're taking on a Phoenix squad who's 3-1 straight up on the road, and they're covering 75% of their ball games for the year. Now, the Suns are giving up just 101 points per contest on the road, and they rank in the top 10 in defensive rebounding. They arguably have one of the best defenses in the NBA. Now, Devin Booker scoring 22 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for the shooting guard. Meanwhile, Mikal Bridges is also scoring 14 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds. Both of those players that I just mentioned, they actually started in all 8 games for the Suns this season. Now, total-wise, Phoenix is 4-0 to the under when they travel. Detroit saw 2 out of their last 4 home games stay under the line themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Phoenix Suns minus 6.5 and the under 217 and a hook. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Friday's NBA action. And once again, happy Friday to you. The weekend is finally here. And for some of you, the weekend started last night. Probably, went to a late night 1-2 no limit hold'em session and made the decision about 11 o'clock last night. Yeah, I think I got the sniffles. I'm not going into work, but I think that's a great idea. But anyway, guys, before we dive into some more free content, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we are 7-1 with a push in our last 9 underdog tier package plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to access today's underdog tier package play, it's only going to cost you just $4.99. We're also 6-2 in our last 8 daily best plays on that site as well. And if you want to lock today's daily best play, that's only going to cost you just $1.99. Like I said earlier, we just keep getting cheaper. I'm not upselling you. I'm like downselling. I'm trying to sell you the cheaper packages. But anyway, guys, got to remind you of this. When you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. So once again, When you sign up for one of my memberships on Patreon, you're going to instantly get access to all the lesser expensive tiers absolutely free. The cheaper memberships are included with your purchase, so not only are you going to get the picks with the package you bought, you're going to get the picks and all the cheaper purchases every day as well. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and what I do on my Patreon site, well, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way in smaller sample sizes versus wagering on every single game on the slate, side and total, like I do here with my free leans on YouTube. That is certainly not a good way to make money, betting on every game, just firing. It's fun, but it's not going to be fun for long because you'll be out of your bankroll. But anyway, we currently have a community of over 825 people just like you who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Moving on, guys, we're going to get right through the rest of the slate. Let's go ahead and dive in. OKC takes on the Knicks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off at MSG. The New York Knicks are -3 at home, totals 208.5. Now, the Knicks are on a 3-game winning streak, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. New York has also successfully covered the point spread in 5 out of those 6 contests as well. They're holding their opponents this season to just 104 points a game and just 28% shooting the 3-ball at MSG. Julius Randle is scoring over 23 points a game, 12 rebounds and 7 assists a night for the forward. He's playing very good basketball in the early going here. Meanwhile, R.J. Barrett's also scoring over 17 a night himself, 7 boards and 3 assists for the shooting guard. They're taking on an OKC squad who lost 4 out of their last 6 themselves, and they rank dead last in the NBA in scoring. The Thunder's also in the bottom 5 in the association in defensive rebounding. And when it comes to the total on this one, OKC saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the posted number, throwing out the Miami contest. Meanwhile, the Knicks saw 7 out of their last 10 meetings with the Thunder get over the line themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the New York Knicks -3 and the over 208.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Wizards versus the Celtics, 7:30 p.m. East at the Garden. The Celtics are -6 with the number at 234.5. Washington is +190 for an upset win. Now, the Wizards have successfully covered the number in their last 3 straight, 2-1 straight up in those 3 covers. Now, the Wizards have also gone a perfect 4-0 against the spread when they travel this season. They're scoring 124 points a game away from home, and they're hitting a staggering 44% of their three-pointers in that same category. I don't know what it is about this team when they travel. Maybe they have a early curfew or something. They're well rested. I don't know, but they travel well. Bradley Beal is scoring over 34 points a night, 5 boards and 5 assists, couple of steals for the guard. Thomas Bryant's also scoring 17 points a game himself, 6 boards and a couple of assists for the 6'10 center. Washington is in the top 3 in the NBA in scoring on average per game. They're taking on a Boston team who failed to cover the number in 2 out of their last 3, throwing out the Miami game. Now, Green, Walker, and Langford are all still out. Teague, Thompson, Edwards, and Williams are questionable. So we're looking at a Celtics team who's pretty banged up right now. The Celtics are in the bottom 10 in home offensive rebounding, and they give up 117 points a game on their home court. That's a really surprising number there. Now, total-wise, 4 out of Boston's last 6 got over the posted number, 2-1 to the over at the Garden. Meanwhile, Washington saw their last 4 straight get over the line themselves, 6-1 to the over in their last 7. I'm going to lean toward the Washington Wizards +6 and the over 234.5. All right, next contest. It is going to be Hornets versus the Pelicans, and we are looking at a 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip at the Smoothie King. The Pels are -6, totals 217, juice to the over. And if you like the Hornets on the road here, they're +$2 for an outright win. Now, looking at the Charlotte team, they have dropped 3 out of their last 4 ball games. They're in the bottom 5 in the league in offensive field goal percentage. Now, the Hornets are scoring just 106 points per contest, and they find themselves in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. Cody Zeller's still out. Nick Richards is questionable. They're taking on a Pelicans team who covered 2 out of their last 3 ball games themselves, throwing out the OKC contest. Now, the New Orleans Pelicans are leading the NBA in rebounding on both ends of the court, offensive and defensive, and they're also giving up just 105 points a game. Brandon Ingram is scoring 25 points a night, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, Zion Williamson's also scoring over 21 points a game himself, 8 boards and a couple of steals for the second-year player out of Duke. Total-wise, the Pels' last 3 straight all got over the line. They also saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Charlotte get over the number as well. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the New Orleans Pelicans -6 in the over 217. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Magic versus the Rockets. Now, that particular ball game, that is going to be an 8 p.m. Eastern start time in Houston. Now, the Rockets are -6 at home with the total at 226.5. But despite that, the Rockets are on a 2-game losing streak and just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. Houston's in the bottom 3 in offensive rebounding, bottom 5 in three-point percentage. The Rockets are also allowing nearly 116 points per contest. Jones, Martin, McLemore, and Clemens are out. Christian Wood is questionable. Now, they are taking on an Orlando Magic squad who won their last 2 straight themselves, playing some pretty good basketball this season. They're actually 6-2 against the spread in their last 8. The Magic's also undefeated on the road this season, and they successfully covered the number in all 3 of those contests. Now, Vic Vucevic, double V. No, Nick Vucevic, maybe his dad's Vic Vucevic. But anyway, Nick Vucevic is scoring 21 points a game, 11 boards and 4 assists for the center. Meanwhile, Terrence Ross is also scoring 21 points a night off the bench, 2 boards and a couple of steals for the guard. Ross should be getting a few more starts after unfortunately, Markelle Fultz blew out his knee, so we're not going to see him until next year, they're saying. But anyway, total-wise, Orlando's last 4 straight all stayed under the posted number. Meanwhile, Houston saw their last 3 straight stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Orlando Magic +6 and the under 226.5. I'm really backing Vic Vucevic there. All right, next matchup, guys. It is going to be Nets versus the Grizzlies. That's going to be an 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Memphis. Now, guys, just keep in mind when I'm doing these videos, it's about 4 in the morning here on the East Coast. So right now, this game is currently off the board. Maybe by the time you watch this video, there'll be some lines for it, but it's OTB right now. Now, Durant's still out for the Nets. Irving won't make it to the game tonight for personal reasons. If you find out what it is, let me know in the comments section. Claxton and Dinwiddie are still out of commission as well. Perry and Johnson are day-to-day. So these guys are pretty banged up right now. Kind of the story of them last season as well. The Nets are also heading into the second of a back-to-back here tonight. They're taking on a Memphis squad who covered the spread in 2 out of their last 3, throwing out the Cleveland contest. The Grizzlies are in the top 10 in offensive rebounding, top 10 in defending the 3-ball as well. Dylan Brooks is scoring over 16 a night for the Grizzlies, 4 boards and a couple of steals a game for the guard. Meanwhile, Jonas Valanciunas is scoring, he's getting 15 points a night himself, 11 boards and a couple of assists a game for the big man. The Grizzlies defensively are in the top 5 in the NBA in first quarter points allowed, certainly getting off to a good start, although, their record isn't outstanding, but, pretty good stat there in the first quarter. Once again, guys, no line currently posted for this game, so I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Memphis Grizzlies winning this one outright. You guessed it, for some money line cash. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Jazz versus the Bucks, 8 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, the Bucks are the 6-point favorite, totals 231.5. And if you like the Jazz in an upset on the road, they're plus $190 for an outright win. Now, Utah's on a 2-game losing streak, 2-5 against the spread in their last 7. Defensively, the Jazz are giving up nearly 41% shooting from beyond the arc. They're also making just 68% of their free throws on the road as well. Morgan's out. Brantley, Favors, and Ingles are questionable. The Jazz are in the bottom 3 defensively in fourth quarter points allowed. Now they're taking on a Milwaukee squad who's 4-0 straight up at home, 3-1 against the number in those contests. The Bucks are leading the association in scoring and field goal percentage. They're also knocking down a staggering 47% of their three-pointers at home. So you prop bet, guys. You may want to think about that one. These guys just are drilling three-pointers on their home court. Giannis is scoring over 26 points a game, 11 boards and 5 assists for the power forward. Meanwhile, Chris Middleton scoring over 21 a game himself, 6 boards and 6 assists for the 6'7 forward. Total-wise, 2 out of Milwaukee's last 3 stayed under the number, throwing out one of those Detroit games. Meanwhile, Utah's going 5-3 to the under for the entire season themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Bucks -6 and the under 231.5. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Bulls versus the Lakers. 10 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Lakers are the 9.5-point favorite at the Staples Center. Totals 230 flat. Now, the Lakers have lost 3 of 5 as the home team this year, just 2-3 against the spread in those ball games. LA's also failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 ball games at any location. They're in the bottom 10 defensively in first quarter points allowed. Now, Caruso's still out. Caldwell Pope's been ruled out for tonight as well. They're taking on a Bull squad who successfully covered the number in their last 3 straight, 6-1 against the number in their last 7. Now, the Bulls have also won 3 of 5 away from home, and they covered the number 4 times during that stretch. Of course, when you're talking about the Bulls, got to mention Zach LaVine. This guy is kind of like the heartbeat of the organization right now. Zach LaVine's getting 25 a night, 5 boards and 4 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Kobe White's also scoring 19 points a game himself, 5 rebounds and 6 assists a game as well. Keep that name in mind. Keep that name in mind. Kobe White is off to a hot start. Speaking of which, both of those players I just mentioned, LaVine and White, they've started in all 9 of Chicago's games this season. Now, the Bulls are in the top 10 in scoring, top 10 in defensive rebounding, and when it comes to the total on this one, 2 out of Chicago's last 3 got over the number, 5-3 to the over in their last 8. Meanwhile, the Lakers saw 3 out of their last 5 home games get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago Bulls plus 9.5 in the over 230. All right, next contest, it is going to be Clippers versus the Warriors, 10 p.m. Eastern start time in the Bay. The Clippers are -4.5 going down the road. Totals 232 and a hook. Now, the Clippers are 4-1 straight up on the road this season, 4-1 against the number in those contests. They're in the top 3 in shooting the 3 ball, and they hold their opponents to just 106 points a game when they travel. Paul George is scoring 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists for the veteran guard. George is also averaging 2 steals a night as well defensively. Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard's also scoring 23 points a game himself, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and a couple of steals a night for the MVP. They're taking on a Warriors team who allows 120 points per contest, and they rank dead last in defensive rebounding. Now, the Warriors are also in the bottom 3 in defensive. I just said that. They're not very good at defensive rebounding. Nothing sweeter than a repeater. Repeated the same stat twice. Anyway, Jordan Poole is day-to-day. Steph Curry's questionable with an ankle. Total-wise, 3 out of Golden State's last 5 ball games stayed under the posted number. Meanwhile, 4 out of the Clippers' last 7 stayed under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Clippers, -4.5, and the under 232 at a hook in that game. And with that, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Raptors versus the Kings, 10 p.m. Eastern tip at the Golden One Center. Toronto's the 5-point favorite away from home, totals 226.5. And if you'd like Sacramento in an upset here, they're plus $170 on the money line. Now, the Kings are 3-1 straight up at the Golden One Center this year. 115 points a game they're scoring on their home court. De'Aaron Fox is scoring over 18 a game, 3 boards and 6 assists for the point guard. Fox is also averaging double-digit steals on the defensive end. And, of course, Harrison Barnes, he's also scoring 17 points a night for the Kings, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for the 6'8 forward. Sacramento's in the top 10 in the NBA in defensive rebounding at home. Now, they're taking on a Toronto squad who's on a 3-game winning streak themselves, while 3-game losing streak. I don't know. Winning at losing. Anyway, let's try it again. Toronto is on a 3-game losing streak while also posting a record of just 1-6 straight up overall for the year. Need some more coffee. The Raps have yet to win a game on the road, and they also failed to cover the point spread in all 4 of those games away from home. They're last in the NBA in field goal percentage, bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. And when it comes to the total in this one, Toronto's last 3 straight all got over the number, 3 and 1 to the over when they travel. Meanwhile, Sacramento saw 4 out of their last 5 get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Sacramento Kings +5 and the over 226.5 in that game. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into really the only segment of the show that actually matters. I'm talking about the quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 7-1 with a push in our last 9 underdog tier package picks. I like the Suns -6.5 under 217 and a hook. I like the Knicks -3 over 208.5. I like the Wizards +6 over 234.5. I'm also leaning toward the Pelicans -6 over 217. I like the Magic +6 under 226.5. I also like Memphis beating the Nets outright for some money line cash. There was no line for this game when I'm recording this video, so Memphis money line. I also like the Bucks -6 under 231.5. I'm leaning toward the Bulls +9.5 over 230. I also like the Clippers -4.5 under 232 and a hook. And last but certainly not least, please give this video a thumbs up right now if you enjoyed it. Please feel free to subscribe right now if you haven't done so already. And one more thing, if you haven't already done so today, please feel free to just tell one friend about this channel at some point today. I'd be very appreciative if you could do that for me here on a Friday. Guys, give me the Sacramento Kings +5 in the over 226.5. Now, guys, if you want to get a shout out here today or tomorrow or sometime during the week, all you have to do is drop me a line in the comment section below. All of today's shout outs that I'm about to do are derived from my YouTube comment section. So, once again, I give my shout outs to the people who write my favorite comments for that particular day. And once again, if you go ahead and boost my ego a little bit, chances are you're going to get a shout out. But anyway, let's go ahead and do some shout outs from our YouTube platform. Shout out to Lasantha, Daniel Buswell, Nikki Calderon, Sebastian Shaw, Jodeci Hackworth, Matthew Keller, Chase Negron, Vernon Williard, Stephen Quintanilla, and last but certainly not least, I want to give a shout out to my good friend DJ Wavy. And folks, if you were one of those people who got a shout out today, don't forget to show your friends and your family that you are now YouTube famous. And if you didn't get a shout out today, just got to keep pounding that comment section. I'll eventually come across your name and give you a shout out. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Also got to remind you that if you get a package here today, all the cheaper memberships on Patreon are included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. That's where all the fun is. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.